1075 The Game Podcasting is sponsored by Modern Exterminating, a family-oriented company. Professional, honest, and dependable pest control solutions. We're your one-stop shop for all pests.
We were all disappointed about last season, nobody more so than myself, but everyone that I saw this past weekend, I'm sure there were people that didn't speak that were cussing me as I walked by and calling me a bum. I get it. That's just the job I signed up for. But everyone that we saw in Augusta and anyone that I've come in contact with really since the end of last season has been nothing but amazing and positive. And I love the passion of our fans. That's why I can't wait to get out to some of these Gamecock Club events and see and feel and hear their passion, and I'd rather coach at a place where you have passionate fans that ask you hard questions and whatnot than a place where they don't care, and they care here, and I'm very, very passionate about getting us to where we need to be, and that's competing for championships, and proud to get out on the road and represent this program and this university and be able to talk about that on the road next week or when we get out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, look, you went 4-8.
He's not a bum, is he? He's not a bum.
Not a bum.
No.
I mean, you're 4-8. You're going to get called a bum and worse. It's the nature of the beast, right? I mean,
yeah. Shane
understands that. I mean, he went through the 5-7 year. That was very disappointing. Not as disappointing as this past one because there was even more expectation this past year than that year. But still, look, it's part of the territory. Guys, we see social media. We know the things that people are called when they're not successful. We get it, right? We understand. Yeah. And Shane understands it. But the year before, when they almost made the college football playoff, they're ready to give him a statue. Some people, right? Give him a contract extension. Give him whatever he wants. Do this, do that. Name the stadium after him. What the hell? It's just the nature of the beast. Look, this has always been around our whole lives, but now with social media and the internet and everybody can just get their thought and opinion out there no matter how drunk they are or sober. I mean, people say stuff, right? Shane knows that. It's part of the deal, man. Shane talking about Dylan Stewart's recovery process.
Yeah, continue to just get well with his injury. It's one of those that just needs rest right now. Kind of the same thing I told you guys a few weeks ago. He just needs to rest. There's not like we, send him to a doctor and he makes a couple adjustments and he's good to go, or he jumps right back in the weight room. He really just needs to rest. So that's the plan for him right now. He'll be doing that, rest while getting better. He was out doing some things on the field this morning, and I was, walking with him out there on the field, just talking, myself and Derek Moore. But the thing for him is just resting, getting well, to be able to do the things he needs to do when we come back at the end of May to start summer school, to then put himself in position to go have the 2026 season that he and we want him to have.
So very simple. You just got to get him ready because he's quite vital and important to the one-loss record. And look, would you love to have him in the spring practicing? Of sure. But look, he's been in Clayton's defense. This will be his third year in Clayton's defense. He knows the defense. He gets it. So that's not an issue. The issue is just and remember, this started at the end of last year, Jay. He wasn't healthy at the end of last season. And he did miss a game. He wasn't 100%. We would watch the game. We even talked about it, remember? You can tell he's not 100%. So you want to get him 100% and ready to rock and roll when it matters to kick this thing off. So whatever you got to do between now and late August, it's okay. Just get him ready to prop him on the field and let him take off and hurt people. WNBA draft last night. South Carolina very well represented. Going number 10 in the first round to the Indiana Fever was Raven Johnson.
Which was a really good get by, the Fever to pick her up.
Again, it gives them perimeter defense. Again, Raven hit 40% of her threes last year. She's gotten better shooting threes in her career. Obviously, she's gotten better as a point guard / playmaker. And you got all this offense around you. No one's asking you to go in there and start making buckets and be their leading scorer. You go in there and fill a role. Whether, it starts coming off the bench, whatever your role is going to be, there's a spot for that. A defender, a playmaker, run the show as a point guard.
A facilitator, and then somebody that can dominate in the post. You got that in Kelsey Mitchell. You got that in Caitlin Clark. And you got that in Aaliyah Boston.
And so you got Raven Johnson coming in that can fill a role, and she's not asked to be some kind of savior or anything. Yep. She's come in and do what you do best. And everybody else around you will handle their business. And
I know, like, when initially she got drafted, a lot of the hate was coming towards Raven Johnson not liking Caitlin Clark. At the end of the day, Raven Johnson is about her business. She wants to win games and she wants to win, quote, championships, not at just the collegiate level, but in the professional level as well. So I think Caitlin Clark and Raven Johnson could be a dynamic duo. I cannot talk that a lot of people are not really talking about right now.
Well, the idea, look, here's the other part of this. Do you know how many teams have folks in locker rooms who don't particularly care for each other?
A lot.
This is an ego-driven sport.
Yeah.
All sports are ego-driven sports. And when you get egos in locker rooms and clubhouses and everywhere else, not everybody's buds, not everybody's pals or besties. People respect each other and they work together. They don't have to like each other. And so if Raven Johnson and Caitlin Clark aren't sitting around buddying up, who cares?
Yeah.
Go do your job. It's simple. It's a job now, Jalen.
Yep.
It's a job. How many people work with people they don't particularly care for, but they work with them because, you know what? They got to do their job together.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. Very simple. Going on number 13 in the first round, Medina Okot will land in Atlanta. Again, just like Raven, you're landing in a spot where no one's asking you to be a savior.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go in. Angel Reese will handle rebounding. You've got Ryan Howard, who scores a ton of points. You got some other pieces there where Medina Okot can go in. She's a very raw talent still.
Yeah.
She can go in and learn and develop without being rushed or pushed into a role she's not ready for. It's a nice spot.
And I like it, too, because, one, they just sent Brittany Griner, who just got paid $7 million to play for the Connecticut Sun, which they're about to relocate to Houston in the next few months, I would say. So they needed somebody else to be alongside Angel Reese to help on cleanup duty. And I think Medina Okot is just the right, perfect fit for the Atlanta Dream with the talent that they have on their roster.
Yeah, and then you go into the second round. Tanaya Latson gets drafted by the LA Spark. It was their first pick in the draft. They didn't have a first rounder. Again, you look around Latson. You got Kelsey Plum, Ariel Atkins. You got people who can score.
Mm-hmm.
Latson can go and do what she does best, which, I mean, she's okay shooting threes, but her game is really driving to the basket, getting in the paint, drawing fouls.
Mm-hmm.
She's good in transition, filling the break. Those are, again, she can go in there and do the things she does best without having to worry about all the other things that a Kelsey Plum can handle and the others. So, Again, for Latson, a nice spot to land. All three ended up in places where they can concentrate on doing what they do best while they're developing and learning, and they're not being asked to do what they're not ready for. So, good deal for all three.